Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Today we're gonna be lecturing about chapter number two. Chapter number two is all about curing a database. So, last chapter number one, you have seen how we created the query. So today, chapter number two is all about the query. So we're going to learn the queries in a full-fledged in chapter number two. So what's the query is? A query is simply a question presented in a way that Access can process, right? So we're going to be using the previous file that I created it in Access. If you remember the Bread Loss Associate database. So I'm going to use the same database, and then we're going to execute the query. So a query is used when you're going to be asking question about the information that you have in your database inside the tables. So remember, all your records is going to be saved in a table. So whenever you're going to be asking question, actually you're going to be asking something that's been saved inside a table, right? So I will share my screen, and then from there we're going to learn all the stuff about the queuing, how to query the stuff, right? So I'm going to be sharing my screen right now. So as you've seen that I have opened my database. So the first thing that I want to do is that I want to use the table. As you see, whenever you want to open the table, you just have to double click it. And if you want to go to the account manager, you have to double click it, and then you will see the tab is going to show you those tables, so those queries, those forms and report are they open. You see that? So I will close everything. So we're going to start the query. So I close it from the X. Now, the first thing that we're going to be dealing with is the first thing in a query is to create a query in a design view. The first thing is to create a query in a design view. So we're going to go to create, and then from the create, we're going to go to the third group under the create tab, then queries. We're going to go to this query design. Once you hit the query design, you will be asked which table. This is the show table dialog box. It's going to ask you about which table that you're going to be using so that you're going to ask the questions, right? So in this case, we have only two tables. So I will use the account table. So either you can double click it to add it in the gray area, or you can select and then you can add. So once you add the table that you want to ask question about it, you have to close the show table with the X. Now, once we close the show table, now, for example, if something happened and mistakenly you had closed the show table, if you look at the query setup, and then in the query setup, you will see show table. So you can click it. It's going to show the table again. The dialog box is going to open, and then you can select the table you want to ask question from. Now, I added the account table, so I will close it. Now, the gray part of the design of a query, that where the tables will be listed, right? And then the gray area, you can stretch it. You see the dots, you can move your cursor until it becomes black arrow, and then you can hold the left key and you can drag it up or down. Now here, if you want to increase the size of the table so that you can see all the columns names, so you can do that. Move your cursor to the border of the table and hold the left key and drag it down so that you can see all the fields in the table account, right? Now, the first thing that you're going to be asking me about what this star is all about, the asterisk. The asterisk here represent what we call is that it's going to display all the record in your table. So the star in a design grid to display all field in a query result. So if you want to display everything in a query, then obviously you will double click this, and then once you run it, look where my mouse indicate. The run, when you're gonna execute that, is gonna display everything in the table. Like for example, if I double click it and then I run the query from the run, you see I got everything. You see? Now if you want to go back to the design, I will click the pencil and the ruler. I am back to the design of the query, and then if I don't want this, I will move my cursor until you get a black down arrow, and then select with the left arrow, and then you can hit the delete from your keyboard. So we clean the grid. Now the other thing, guys, you see here, these are where you have to specify. The first row indicate the fields that you want to ask the question from. The next row in a grid is the table, so it's going to indicate these columns are coming from which table. Sort, if you want to sort them alphabetically, or ascending one, descending wise, you can choose that. Show, if you want to show that specific column, or you want to add a specific column, then you have to remove the checksum from the show. Criterion is that when you have to specify your condition, okay? And then if you want to use the OR condition, on A or B, both of them I want to display the result, then you can use the OR section of the grid, you see? So the first thing that in your book, it says about how to add field to the grid. So how to add field to the grid is this. The first thing is that I'm gonna do is that you have to double click the field that you want to ask question about it. So in this case, you will have to double click. For example, I will say, give me the account number. So double click the account number, is going to be added to the grid. Then the next one, I want account name, double click it. And then I want amount paid, double click it. That's how you're going to add the field to the design grid. And then we need due. So once you have added this, and then you can run your query to execute it. And that's what you asked for, right? So you should see the results in a few seconds will be displayed, right? Now, if you want to go back, you will go back to the design. You can either hit the pencil and the ruler where my mouse indicate, or you can just click the down arrow and design view. So we are back to the design view. Now, the next one we're gonna do after we add the fields, the next in your book says is to use the text data in a criterion. So the first thing is that how you're gonna use a text data in a criteria. So now let's say that you have something which is a text, and then you want to ask question in a field that is a text. So how you gonna execute those text data? So to do that, for example, if your boss says, can you find those account number that starts with a JM323? So you will go to the account number column under the you will type JM323 because that's what I want to ask. I want to see all the information about the account number JM323, which is under the account number, right? So once I got that, I will execute it. So I will click run. And I got one information about the JM323 account number, and that is the JSP, and then the amount paid on the current due. Now, we want to save this query. Now, to save the query, you will go to your quick launch in the top, and then you will hit the floppy disk. Once you hit the floppy disk, you will be asked to name it. So here, according to your book, they said is M for module, 02 is chapter number 02 is chapter number 2, and query 1. So that's the first query. and then I will click OK. Once I hit OK, look in the queries category. Now you will see that the MO2Q1 is been saved, right? So this one is the one that we asked question about, the account number JM323. Now, if I want to go back and modify this, so I can click the pencil, and then I am back to the design of the query, right? Now your book says we can use the wildcard. So Microsoft Excel support the wildcard. Wildcard, you know in English what the wild means. It's like quickly to ask question, right? So wildcard are symbols that represent any character or combination of characters. So one common wildcard that we use most in Excel is the asterisk, the question mark, right? Not the question mark, the asterisk, the multiplication sign. So the multiplication sign is going to represent any collection of characters, right? The other wildcard is the question mark, which represent any individual characters. So you can use two kinds of wildcard. It's up to you what you want to do. You can use the asterisk and you can use the question mark. The asterisk represent any collection of character, any collection of characters. Whereas the question mark is going to represent what individual character, right? So I'm going to show you now how to use a wildcard. Now, what the wildcard is very important, because what if somebody says to you, can you find all those cities that start with a B? How you gonna fetch all those cities that start with a B? So with the wildcard, then you will be able to get all those cities that start with a B, right? So to do that, first I will delete the previous query that I executed it. I saved this one. If you see, I saved it as MO2Q1. So I can still use this, then I can save as whatever I wanna execute, right? So to show you how to use the wildcard, now your boss says or anybody says, can you find for us all those account name that starts with a K? All those account name that starts with a K, but I don't know what is after K. I don't know what the other characters are after K, right? So you will go to the account name column, and under the criteria for that specific column, the question was to get all those account names that start with a K. So you will put K, and then I don't know what is after K, right? So what you're gonna put? The star. The star is represent any characters, right? So I put K, and then I put the asterisk. So once I did this, then I will run it to see what I will get. Now notice that when I run my query, I got two account names that start with a K. That's what you asked for. And I don't know what is after K, right? So here is, I saved it. Now how you gonna save this, right? Because if I save this, now it's gonna override the MO2Q1, right? So I wanna still keep the MO2Q1. So to save this new one, you will go to File. You will go to File. File, Save As. Now this time you're gonna choose Save Object As, then Save As. Now it's gonna be asking you wanna save as what? So in this case, we're gonna be saving it as, I will take off the copy off. So MO2, and that is our query number 2. You can give it a name if you want to. So whatever is easy for you. So here I'm just following the steps in the book, and it's MO2 Q2, and then I will hit OK. So if you look now, the second query is being saved. So I have two different now. Let me show you. If I click this one, that's the one with the JM323, right? And then if I click this one, it's gonna be this one, right? So I'm gonna go to the design of this one that we did now. So, and when you go back to the query design, you will see that Access will add like K, right? Like K star. That means that the like is the keyword that Excel will add that. So Access will add that. So don't worry about it, okay? And don't delete it. Now, the next thing is we're gonna get, what if your boss says, can you find a criteria that has something like a text that you type, right? So I will delete this, and then I will add the city, because I will use the city to find the information about the specific cities. So once I add the city, I will go to the criteria, and then the book find, we're gonna find a criteria, we're gonna find the city that start with, the city name is Granger. So it's Granger. And then I will execute it to see the city that is Granger. Now you will run it. I got all the city with Granger. You see here, I have 3 of them that has the city Granger. So now the thing is that if you don't want to see the city Granger, I can go back to the design and I can remove the show. So obviously I need to find the city Granger, but I don't want to display the city Granger. So once you remove the checksum from the city, now I will run it again. See? And now I don't see anything that says Granger because I hide that specific city column, right? So if you want to save this one, so you will go to where I said File, Save As, Save Object As, Save As, and then you will change this, and then you will give it number 3, and then OK. Or you can say city Granger. See? So we said city Granger, right? Now the next lecture is about parameter query. Now a parameter query is when you want the query to prompt for an input. So whenever you want to run the query, it's gonna prompt you for an input. Whenever you use this parameter query, it's gonna ask you, like suppose it's gonna say enter the city to search, or enter the city. Then I will say whatever city, I will say Boston, then it's gonna fetch Boston. Then when I run it again, it's gonna give me the prompt. It's gonna prompt on the screen, enter the city. I will tap whatever the city I want, then I will get that the result of that specific city, right? Now to create the parameter query, I will go and I will use the same, but then I will change it later on. So here now we are, and then whenever you want to use the parameter query, you will have to use the square bracket. The square bracket is in the right of the P, and then you will enter any message. You will say enter city to search. Then I will close the square bracket. Okay, So that's the parameter query. Now I will run it. You see that? Once you run this query, every time it's going to ask you enter the city to search. So I will say give me, let's say I will say give me Wells. So WELLS. You see I got the city Wells. Okay, so if I go back here and I will make it to display the city also, now I will run it. Every time you run the parameter query is gonna get you the prompt, and then you have to enter whatever city you want to. Now I will search Granger, GRANGER. See, that's a nice command because you can get any cities you want. Just type the city you want to search. So see, in a few seconds I got it. So now I will save this one. So I will go to File, Save As, save the object as, save as, and then I will name it as account dash city dash query. And then I will click OK. So you see now I add account city query. So let's say I closed it. I wanna run it. I will double click it. Every time once I run this, I will get the prompt to input the city to search. So I will say give me Wells. Yeah, I got the Wells. Okay, so that was the parameter query. So let me show you again. Every time you want to create a parameter query, you will have to have the square bracket. The message could be anything. Your book says intercity. To make it more, nice, I said intercity to search, but your book says intercity only. So it's up to you, whatever message you want. Then be sure that you close the square bracket, right? So I will close it. I will run it first, and then I will say give me Granger, for example. There you go, I got it. So now I will close it. So that query is saved. Now I will teach you to use a number in a criterion. So what if you wanna ask question in a column that is a number? That's like a numerical column. So I will use I will use this one, city Granger. Remember, I will go back to the design, and then what I will do is I will say account number, account name, amount paid, current due, and then I will delete this. So I will go here and I will delete it. Select. Now look how I selected. Move your cursor until you get a black down arrow, then click the left key and then delete. So now in this case here, in the criteria, you will specify the current due. So under the criteria, that's your criterion. That's where you have to be your condition. So I wanna get all those accounts name and the account numbers where the current due is 0. So I put 0 under the criteria and I will run it. There you go. The current due 0 is only one, which is the Key College. Community College has a 0 current due. All right. So I will save this query. I will go to File, Save As, Save Object As, Save As. Then you have to name it as, this will be my query number 4. So M is for manual, 02 is chapter number 2, and query 4. And I will click OK. So that's the one done here. All right. Now I will teach you about how to do comparison, how to use the comparison operators, right? So what if you want to get something about, if your boss says, can you find all those employees whose salary is greater than equal $60,000. So the comparison operators are obviously the greater than, less than, equal, greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to, or not equal to. So I will repeat again. The comparison operators are greater sign, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, and the last one is not. Not means not equal to, right? So let me show you now how we're gonna use this. So for this one, obviously we need to use the table account manager, because remember in the account manager we have the start date, right? So what I will do, I will close this query for a few seconds. We're gonna select the account manager, and I will go to create. I will go to query design. I will add the account manager table, double click it, then close the show table. Now in this case, we're gonna add the account manager number. We need the last name, we need the first name, and then we need the start date. So you can scroll down, start date. Now, in your case here, so if you have a date greater than whatever you ask for, means that the date comes after 1st of January 2015, after, okay, after January 1, 2015. So in this case, we want to find all those account managers whose start date is after January 1, 2015. So I will go to the start date, and then in the row below the start date under the criteria, I will put greater. Greater means after. So greater after. So I will say greater 1 January 1st, 2015. So we need after January 1, 2015. We want to see all those employee or the account managers whose start date is after 1, 2015. So I will run my query. Here you go. So if you see that we got 2 of them. Bitter and Kieran is the one that been hired after January 1, 2015. Okay, so in this case, so we have 8/3/2015 and then 11/9/2016. So in this case, we're gonna be saving this query. So I will go to File, Save As, Save Object As, because the query is an object, and then we're gonna name this as M02Q0. 3 because I did not save any query with the 3, so that I will put 3 there. So we have now 3. All right. Now that is about the comparison operator. Now let me show you again with another example. So I will close this one. And let me open the query number 4. For example, I will double click it. And then I will go to the design. Now, what if your boss says, can you find all those account numbers whose current due is greater, let's say greater $2,000. I will run it. So if you see the current due is greater than 2000. So I will go back. What if your boss says, can you find all those account paid who are less than 2000? Less than, you can put less than equal, but I want less than 2000. So we have only one who have account paid less than what? 2000. That's 0. So I hope that you guys has got the point, the concept about how to use the comparison operator. Now one more comparison operator is that if you said less than equal 2000, so it means that you wanna also get less than, and also if I have somebody with a current due 2000, also that will show up. So let's try this one. You see, I got less than 2000. Okay, so I hope you have learned that. So I will go back. Now the last one that I will show you is the not one, right? So let me add the city, and then I will go here and I will say not Wells. I don't want Wells, but other than Wells, show me everything. Run it. These are the ones, but there is no Wells. You see? So you see here I have Carlton. Okay, so I will show you Carlton also. I will go back here and I will say, I will put that Carlton, not Carlton. Run it. You see, Wells was there, but I don't have Carlton. I want everything but not Carlton. So I will show you here and then here. So I will go to save if you want that. So I will save it, file, save as, save object as, save as, and then this one, not Wells, for example. So not Wells. Now I will teach you how to use the compound criterion involving OR. Now to combine the criteria with OR, each criterion must go on a separate row in the criteria area of the grid. So if you want to use the OR and the AND, so each criterion must go on a separate row in a criteria area of the grid. Okay. So in this case, let's examine this one. So I have the account number, account name, amount paid, current due, and I want to change this. So I can change it from here. So here I can click the drop down and I will use the account manager and I will remove this, right? Now the question is that's the compound. Compound means that you want to combine the compound criterion involve and or, right? The and condition and the or. Okay, the and condition is the one that both conditions that you want to check, they have to be in a table. So if they are not, then you will get like a 0. Nothing will be displayed. But if you use or, if you couldn't find the first one, then find me the second one, right? So still you will see something under the or. So in this case, if I say the current due I'm looking at under the criteria, I want to find all those accounts who are greater $2,500 and the account manager 31. So let's run and see. Now the moment that you put two conditions in the same row, like the way I did this one, that become an and. So you said, show me all those account number, account name, whose current due is greater than 2,500 and the account manager is what? 31. So let's run it and see. So here is that I got 31 and I got your requirement, right? You asked for 2,500 greater, so that's the one. Now I will go back, and then if you wanna say, okay, I want 31, or show me the other one. For example, show me 58, for example. The account manager 58. I will run it. I put it under the or now. I said this is what I want, or if there is something under 58, also show me. So I will run it. You see? But this you said greater to 2,500, but because you said or, show me all 58. So 58 also will be displayed. You see that? It's gonna show up. You said 31 or 51. So I can go back here, and then you can specify. If you said, okay, what I want to do is I want to find all the current due which is greater 2,500, and then or show me all the ones with 31, the account manager, right? The account manager. So I will run it. Now if you look at here, I got 31 and the 58 that you asked for. So I will save this one. I will go to save as, save object, sorry, save as, save this, then I will save this as Manual 02 query 5. That one is done. Now you can also use a special criterion, like you can use between operator, the between. So how you gonna use the between? Let me show you. So I will delete this. I will delete this. So for example, you said in the amount paid, we're gonna go to the criteria for the amount paid, and then let me increase this so you can see what I'm typing under the amount paid for in the row criteria. So in the criterion row below the amount paid, that's the one, that's the column I'm gonna use to ask question. So I will say, I will find it. I will say greater equal 2,000, 20,000, and so I will put the and now, and less than equal 40,000. So I said greater equal 20,000 and less than equal. So whatever is in between these, show me the results. So run it. You see? Pay attention to this column, amount paid. So you said it should be greater equal 20,000, which is, and it has to be less than 40,000. It is. The last one you got is 34,000. You see that? So I will go back and see how I did that. Now, what if you said, I will say, for example, I will also use the between. That's the and operator now. So I will use between. So what you're gonna do, I will take off this and I will put between 20,000, sorry, 20,000 and 40,000. Between 20,000 and 40,000, display all those amount paid. So run it. See, I got the same thing. Either you want to say greater equal 20,000 and less than equal 40,000, or you can just say between 20,000 and 40,000, right? So now I will save this one so you can see it again. Save as, so object, save it using between operator. So this is the one where we have used the between 20. Okay. Now I'm gonna teach you how to sort. Now sorting happen in one way, right? So the field or the field in which the record are sorted is called the sort key, right? If you are sorting more than one field, the more important field is called the major key. So the field that comes in the left will be more powerful. It's gonna be the primary sort key. And the less important field is called the minor key, or the secondary sort key. So the one comes in the left is your major key or your primary sort key, and the one that comes in the right hand side, that is the minor key or the secondary sort key, right? So to do that, what I will do is I will have to clean up my grid. So to select the grid, so you will move your cursor here, hold the shift key when you select the first column in the grid and select the last one. So everything is been selected. Now you can delete it from here, query tab and then delete, or you can just hit delete columns. You see here delete columns. I deleted it. Now, or you can hit the delete from your keyboard, right? Now, I will double click the city. And then when I run the city, you see that the city is not being sorted. Did you notice that? See, the B should be the second after A, but I don't see that. See here, Birmingham should be the second, but it's not there. And the Carlton also should be number 3 in line, but it's not there. So it's not sorted. You will go back to the design, and then you see the next row that says sort. I will click here, and I will say ascending. And now we will run the query. There you go. All the cities have been what? Sorted alphabetically. So A, B, C, then the D's, then the G, then R, then the W's, right? So you will go back to the design. I selected ascending. So if you want to reverse it, you will go here in the drop down, you will choose descending wise, then the W should be the one in the top. See? So I will go back. The book wants us to do it ascending wise. Now, with the sort, I will go back and save this one. I will go to file, save as, save as, and then this will be sorting query. That's the one that we sorted, right? Now the problem when I run the query, you have noticed that the CDs are duplicating. Why should I see Birmingham 50 times or 20 times? I can just, you can only display once instead of being displaying me 2 times, and then Carlton 2 times, Davidson 2 times, and I have Granger 3 times. So you should only show me once. So how to omit duplication? Okay. So to get the duplication out of the way, we have to choose a property that we have that is known as unique values. So we have to make the unique values property from no to yes. I will show you how. So let's go to the design. So once you are in the design, you see the column in the right hand side of the city, the white column. You will click here, and then you see the property sheet has show up in the right hand side. Now, for example, if you don't see this one, let's say it's like this, no problem. You see where it says in the ribbon, show and hide, and then you see the property sheet command is here. So click it, it's gonna make it visible. As your cursor is blinking in the empty column, you have to see something says unique values. So I will go here and I will say make the unique value yes. because you want to see only you don't want to see duplication of the city. So once I said yes, I will run my query. There you go. So we have omitted the duplication. So I will go to File, Save As, Save Object As. I will go here and I will say omit duplication. That's the query that to omit duplication. That one is done. Next, to sort on multiple keys, right? To sort on multiple keys. So I will go back to this one. And what I will do is I will delete here what I did earlier. I will delete it. So I will add the account number. I will add the account name. I will double click the account manager number and amount paid. So in this case, we want to sort two columns, two fields. So I will say sorted as alphabetically ascending wise, and then this one ascending wise. Now remember I told you that the field that you want to sort is in the left as compared to the right. So the one in the left, with in this case the account manager number, is your major sort key, is your primary key sort. And the one in the right hand side, in this case is your amount paid, that will be your minor key, your secondary sort key, right? So I will run it. Okay. Although if you see that this guy here, according to that, it should be in the top, but it's not there because this guy is 35. If it was 31, then this will be in the top, right? So that's what I was telling you. Always Excel will go with the first field that has a sort key. So always the first one is your major key. This is your minor key, right? So that was about how to sort on multiple keys. So that's how to sort on multiple columns. Okay. So I will save this one. File, save as, save object. The book, saved it as M query 2, sorry, chapter 2 and query 8. So that one is done. Now the next one is to create the top value query. Now what is that? Rather than show all the results of a query, you might want to show only specified number of records or percentage of the record. I don't want to see like all 1,000 records. I want to get a specific number of record to display like 5, 10, or the ones that I can display with a percentage, right? So why do we need to create the top values query? Why do we need that? You might not need to see all the records, just enough to get a general idea of the results. I don't want to display all the 100 records, just I want to get a general idea of the results, right? Then I will use the top value query. So creating a top value query is going to allow you to restrict the number of record that appears. Creating a top values query will allow you to restrict the number of records that appears. Okay. So remember, when you sort a record, you can limit the result to those records having the highest. In this case, is the descending sort. If you want to sort by highest, then you have to sort that key, that column by descending sort. If you want to get the lowest value in a column, then your sort key should be ascending. Okay, so let's do that. So I will go back here. I have the account number, account name, and then I amount paid, right? So what I will do, I will say give me ascending, okay, and then give me ascending for the amount paid, and then you see here under the query, I will flash my mouse, query setup, the group, you see it says return all. By default it will gonna return everything. Like if I run this query here, it displays everything, right? So I will go back here, and we said that if you want to sort the amount paid, so obviously I should get the lowest, right? So I will go here and I'll say give me 5, the top 5, run it. You see, that's the top. So if I go back here, and then if I remove the ascending wise from this guy, don't sort, just give me the amount paid, the top 5, the lowest. Okay, so if you put ascending, it's gonna show you the lowest. See, the top 5, 0, 10, 13, 15,000 and 19,620. These are the top lowest. Now if you go back here and you said amount paid, and I want to find the top, the 5 highest, so you will choose descending, then you will run your query. Now I got the highest amount paid, the top 5, 44,000 and 34,000, 30,000, 29,000 and 27,000, right? So that's what we call is the top value query. So if you go back here to the design, if you don't want the 5, you can get the, let's say, give me 5%. So that's the 5%. That's the highest. So if we go back here and we change this to ascending wise to get the lowest, and I say give me 5%, I should get the 0 one. See? So I went back here. You can either say return the 5% or just the top 5. Now here ascending means you want the lowest, and if you put descending means you want the highest amount paid, the top highest. This is the top highest. So I will go back, run it, and then I will file, and then I will save this as top value query, and I will save it. Right? So that was this. Now the next is joining the table. Joining the table, what that means is that what if you wanna find record from 2 tables? Okay, so you need to join the table to find record in the 2 tables that have an identical value in matching field. So in this case, whenever you want to join the 2 tables, in both tables there should be a unique field that you can create the join, right? So if you open the account manager, you see here I have account manager, right? Account manager number. Then if I open the account, I have account manager. So this is my, what we call is your unique column. So with the help of this column, we can create the join because this column is in both table, right? So to do that, to create join, because I want to extract the record now from 2 table. Not only whatever we did previously was we were running only 1 table. Now in this case, we're gonna be using 2 table, and then we're gonna ask questions, right? Now I will go to create. I will go to create design, and then I will add, first I will add the account manager table. So you can either select and add, or you can double click it. So I will select and click add, the table is added, and then the next second table I will double click it. The moment that you did that, Access is so sensitive that automatically detected that These are the two guys that can join the table. You see, account manager, and then I have another account manager here. So they are of the same kind. You see that? So the two guys are, the two tables is being joined. Now what I need from these two tables. So the first thing is from the account manager table, I want the account manager table, sorry, the field. And then I want the last name. I want the first name. And then from the account table, I want the account number. And also I want the account name. So once I did this, I'll run. Now if you look in the row that has table, now it tells you from where these columns are coming. So account manager number is coming from the account manager table. The last name and the first name, they are coming from the account, and then account number and account name, they are coming from the account table. So in this case, with the help of the join, you are joining two tables in here to get the information from. So now I will run my query, and you see that it executed it, and then you have got information from two tables. All right. Now I will save this query. So I will go to File, Save. So here I will save this as, I will do it again, save as. So I will save this as manager dash account query. Right. So I save this one as manager and account query because it has the information from both tables. Now I will show you the join properties, right? So let's go back. Now you see, to get the join property, you have to click on the line until it becomes black and tick. Do right click on it, and then here it says join properties. Now in join properties, guys, you have the first option by default is, the first option says only include the rows where the join field from both tables are equal. So if I have the same number of information in both tables, then display the result. That's what you have seen. The next one says include all records from the account manager and only those records from the account where the join field are equal. So you have to include everything from the account manager and also those records from the account table. So let's check the second option. Once I choose the second option, execute. Now in this case, you see Lou Bidder was not there earlier because the first option says that both information should be equal in both tables. But because Lou Bidder, which is 42, is only exist in the account manager, but it does not have anything to do with the account table. So there, in short, Lou Bitter, which is 42, account manager 42, it does not have any accounts in the account table. That's why Bitter was not displayed. Okay, so let me show you again. We'll go back. I will click on the line, right click, join property. So the first and the third one, they are of the same kind. So I will go back with the third one now to show you. Include all records from the account and those from the account where the join field are equal. So I will select this, run it. Now you see, I don't see Lou Bidder. Because the problem with the record number 42, it exists in the account manager tab, but it doesn't have any accounts associated with 42. That's why that account was ignored. Okay, so if I go back to the design of this query and then click here, right click, join properties, and then see what it says. Number one, only include rows where the join field from both tables equal. So Bitter Lou, which is 42, account manager 42, it has record in the account manager, but it doesn't have anything in the account table. So the first condition says only include those information that exists in both tables. So that's why you did not see. But if you still want to see if there is a record or not, then you have to choose the second option. So I will click the second one, for example. I will click OK. Run. See, I see now Lou. Only Lou has information in the account manager, but not in the account table. So by default, in Access, always is the first option. Both records should be of the same. If one has a record, the other one, then that record would not be executed according to what it says here. So when I run it now, see, I don't see it. So I will go to File, Save As, Save Object, and that one is to show you joining two tables. So that one is done. Now we're gonna create a report from a query. So let's say that you create a report so that you have a query, and then from that query you want to create a report. So you can use queries in the creation of a report. Okay, so why do we need to do that? They said the last name and the first name field are in the account table, and the account number and the account name field are in the account table. So the problem now is that the account name, the last name and the first name, they are in what table? Account manager. And the account name and the account number is in the account table. So with the help of the query, we gonna combine the last name, first name, account manager from the account manager table, and then also I will add the account number and the account name from what we call from the table account. Now to do that, to create a report from a query, what I will do is that I will close this. Now I will go to create, and then I will go to report. You see the group that says report wizard. And then in this case, what I will do is that I will go and choose the account. For example, account manager, and then I want the account manager, the last name, first name. And then at the same time, I will go to the account table, the account table, and then from there I will choose the account number and the account name. So once I did that, I will hit next. Now this one, see, the problem I'm gonna be having is that these two guys does not exist because those two tables are not related to each other, right? So what I will do, we already created it a query, this one here. You see this one here? We already created it, remember? The manager and account query. So I will use this one. I already extracted it, the information from those columns from different table. Now I will just create a query. Now to a report. So to do that, I will go to create again. I will go to report wizard. This time what I will do, I will use from the drop down, because you can create a report from table or queries. Because I created a query that has the information from the account manager and also has the information from the account table, right? So I created this query, so I will click on it. So that's what the information we need, right? So I will add all this. So to add everything to the selected field box, you need to click on the double greater sign. You see, I will click it, is added. Next, just hit next. Now here, if you want to sort that, so just hit next. And then this one, it says, how will you like to lay out your report? We're gonna leave it as a tabular, and then we're gonna make it landscape, then hit next. Now here is asking you if you wanna save it as whatever you want. So here we're gonna save it as manager-account report. So I will take off the query report, and then I will hit finish. There you go. The report is created, and then you can hit the file and print, or you can hit print from here, right? So if you want to close the report, I have to close the print. It's gonna take you to the design of the report, then hit the X from here, and the report is created. If you look here, it says account manager account report. So if you double click it, there you go. Right. Now the next one is creating a form for a query. So we already have the query is being created. Now I want to create a form. Remember, the form is the one where you can input information to the table, right? So I will close my report. I will select the query, not the table now. I can create a form using a query or a table. So the query that I'm gonna be using is this guy here. So I will close this, and I will use this query, manager account query. I will go to create, and then I will just I will look for the group that says forms, and I will click on this, the first option, form. There you go. You see? And then I'm in a layout view. You can go to format. You can hold the shift key, and you can select them like this. You can hit the boldface. You can give them the color you like. And then this one, you can select them like this. Hold of the label. I can boldface. I can change the color of it, just to show you. And then if you want to make it whatever that was, account manager number, and then this one was account number. See, now I will view my form. So you will go to the design. The form layout tool has 3: design, arrange, and format. So I will go to design, view. I will click the small down arrow. See, I'm in a layout view. I will hit form view. See, and then I can click the arrow down for the next record. Look, yeah, I can go back to the first record. Now I will close this form. I will save it. Yes, I will save it this as manager account form, and then I will click OK. So that one is done. Now the next thing your book says, remember in the first chapter we had imported Excel file into Excel. So now the book says you can export something in Access to Excel. So how you gonna do that? I selected the query, manager account query. That's the one I wanna export it in Excel. I will go to external data, and in the external data you have only 2 group, import and export. So I'm exporting it. So I will click export to what? Excel. So I will click Excel, and then I will say export the data with the formatting and layout, whatever the layout I have done in my Access, the same thing has to be exported it. And then I will click OK. Also, you can say open the destination file after the export. So if you want, as soon as it's been exported, it's gonna open the file in Excel. So I said open that if I want that. If you don't want, then don't choose it. So now I will click OK. And then I don't want to save the steps. I will close it. So now I need to, it should come up. Here you go, Excel is blinking now. Here you go, guys. See the formation in dark? And this is what you have done in Excel, in Access, and you have imported it in Excel. So you cannot say that whatever I have in Access, that's the end of the day. I cannot export it to another formation because Access and Excel, they are both belong to the same family, Microsoft. So that's why if you have done anything, a table in Access or a query in Access, and you wanna send it to your boss in an Excel format, yes, you can export it as an Excel file, and then from there you can get it. You see, it creates an Excel file. So I will close the Excel file. So that one is done. Now, the next one, they said you can also, while you have created the join between the two tables, still you can use your criterion. You can use the comparison operator, the greater, equal, the less than, equal. You can use the and, the or, whatever you want. It's the same thing. So to do that, I will use one of the query that we did, the join the two table. I will use that one. I will do right click on it, design view. It opens the design, both the table has been joined. So what I will use here, let's say, okay, we're gonna create a new one. So I will close this one. The book wants us to use a new one. Let me see, is it the new? It should be this one. Yeah. So it's account manager, last name, first name, account number, account name, and then we need to add the amount paid from the account table. So once we add the amount paid, then I will go to the criteria here and I will say, give me all those account manager, their last name, first name, their account number, account name, whose amount paid is greater 20,000. 20,000. And then I will run it. There you go. So we got all these account managers whose amount paid is greater 20,000. Right? And then if you want to save it, you can save it. And then you can go back, and then if you said less than or greater, whatever you want, so you can use that. Or you can go to the current due also. And then if you said, or show me those who have a current due 0. See, I put under the or. I'll run it. You see, I got this guy here, Rivera Hedy. She had the current due 0 because I put it under the or. I say, if you have any current due that has a 0, show me that. So that's the one. See? So still you can use your criterions to restrict the record in a join, right? Now the next thing I'm gonna teach you is about calculations, how to calculate some field. You wanna create your own calculation field, right? So what if your boss says, can you find what will be the total amount after you add your amount paid and the current due? We wanna see what the remaining total amount is, right? So to do that, obviously what I will do is I will create a new one. So I will close this. I will save the changes if I want. Now I will go to create. I will go to query design. and then I will add the account table, and I can also add this. Let's use the account table. So I will close it. Now I need to add my my field or the column in the grid. So I will double click the account number, account name, double click it, and then I will go a little bit down and I will select the amount paid, and also I will select the current due, right? So after you add this, because we want to find what will be the total amount. So in the right column, which is the empty column, you have to move your cursor, click in the first row of the blank column, and do right click until you see zoom. Zoom is a dialog box where you have to put your is a zoom command where you have to put the formula. So I will click on the zoom. I should get this dialog box, and then here I will put my formula. So I will say total amount. Total amount is not part of my table. I'm just creating it now. So that's the variable total amount. And then you will use the square bracket. And then now this one is very important. It has to be the same as what the column names are. If it's not, if you misspelled it, then you will have an error. So here I need to be sure. So amount is in capital A, so A capital amount, space paid, and close the square bracket, plus open a new square bracket. So every single column will be in its own square bracket, okay? So you cannot mix it. So then you will say current, C in capital, current due, close it, and then click OK. Now run the query. And if you see here, I got the total. You see? You see it? Very simple. So I add the total amount plus this to give me the total amount. So the total amount was not part of my table. I just created it using the query. So let me go back and show you how we did it. We went to the empty column and we did right click until you get right click, and then until you get zoom, and then you have to tab your formula. So these can be anything you want, but this should be exact of what the columns names are that you want to get the total, or you kind of get a percentage or whatever you want to do. All right. So now I will save this one. File. I will go back. Save as, save the object, save as, and that one I will save it as total amount calculation. So that one has the calculations, right? Now, the next one we're gonna do is, instead that you wanna change the caption. What you said is that I don't wanna set total amount. I wanna set paid. So you will go to the design, okay? Design, we are in the design view. So in the design view, you see the property sheet. If the property sheet is not available, you will go to the group that says show hide, and then click on property sheet. Now here you see I have caption, and under the caption you will say paid. Now I will run my query, and what's gonna happen is that it's gonna change the name. So in this case, for example, now if I run this, let's see, I will select this one, right? So this one is the amount paid. I will change it from amount paid, I will say paid. and then I will click on the second one, the current due. I will just say due under the caption, and then this one I will take it off. Okay, so I want to leave it as total amount, so I will run it. You see in the top here we change it from amount paid to paid, from current due to due, and then total amount, right? And then I will save it. So that one is done. How to change the caption. Now we're gonna use the calculations. Okay, so to do that we will use to calculate statistics now. So I will close this. Now in this case you can, there are like you can do a group calculations. Let's say for example, if you have a manager who is an account manager 31, and he have all these accounts, what we call the current dues or the current dues. So what we want to do that instead of showing me 31 50 times, I will group it to show me only 131, and then give me the total for the current due and the amount paid, a total of all those individual current dues and amount paid. For example, let me show you this. I will go to create a new one, and I will say query design, and then let's say I will use the account table, and then I will close it. Now let's say I will use the account manager, and then let's say I will use the amount paid, right? Now I will run my query. You see that I have 31, 31, 31, and 31, like 5 records, okay, of 31, and there the values, the amount paid, right? So what I will do, I will combine, I will group. So grouping means those records who share the same characteristics, they're gonna be grouped together. So instead of showing me 31 5 times, I will have only 131, and all these will be summed up, or you're gonna find the average of these. Now let's see how we're gonna do that. So I will go back to design. Let me move these up here so you can see. Now what I will do, I will do this. You see here it says on the show and hide, I have the sigma, the total. The moment that you clicked it, you will see, and underneath the table row, you will see a total row. A new row will be added. Hit the totals command again, is gonna hide it. If you want to group the records, and then you can hit the sigma sign of the total, so you see you get total, you will get the total row, and in each row you will see group by, right? So I want to group all the account managers, and I want to find what you see under the amount paid. It says group by what? I want to get the sum. So all the 31, all the 58, they will be grouped, and all the amount paid that were individually, I showed you earlier, now they're gonna be grouped, and you will get the sum of each of these. So let's execute it. See, 31, and all the amount paid, that was 5 record. Remember, it was 5 record that I showed you earlier for 31. Now all those 5 were grouped under 131, and then we summed it to get the sum. I said I want the sum, right? So that's how you do that. Now also you can do average. So you can go back here, and you can go and change this to average, and then run it. See, this is the average of the amount paid. If I go back here, and I can add another one, current due, and then I can say give me the current due sum or the maximum. Okay. That's the max. For 31 is this. For 35, the maximum current due was this, and then for 58 was this. So this is what we call group by. Now, also the statistics function, we call them the aggregated function. The aggregated function is a function that performs some mathematical function against a group of records. Okay, so the aggregated function is a function that performs some mathematical function against a group of records. Okay, so you have to click on the total where my flashlight indicate. So then you will get a new row with the name total, and then you will see group by, and then from there we grouped all the managers, and I want to find the amount paid and the current due. Okay, so let's try if we're gonna change the caption, if I can change the caption. So I will go here, and then I will go here and say average of amount paid. Let's say if we can execute something like this. See, average of amount paid. If you don't want these like max of current due, so you can change the caption. You can go here and select this one, and then you can say maximum or highest current due amount. See, highest current due amount. So you can do that also. So I will go to file, save as, save object as, save as, and then I will save this as grouping by query, and then I will click OK. So that one is done. So the last it looks is also we can use now the last one is cross tab. Now before I use the cross tab, if you said only I want to use one of these, so you can just use one of it, so you can take off whatever you don't want. For example, I can delete this, and then I can take off this one, and then if you want to sum all the amount paid, you can do that too. So that's all the amount paid. Whatever the amount paid of all the amount managers, all will be summed together, and that's the total. So yes, you can also do like that. The book has mentioned that also you can do like that. You can find an average, you can do whatever you want. So if you want to find the average of the amount paid, I can go here and say average, and then run it, and then I get the 22,637. So I will close this. I will not save this. Okay, now the cross tab query, or simply cross tab, calculate the statistics. For example, the sum, the average, or the count for a data that is grouped by two different types of information. So I will repeat again. A cross tab query, or simply cross tab, calculates the statistics. For example, the sum, the average, or the count. These are the statistics or aggregated functions for a data that is grouped by two different types of information. One of the type will appear down the side of the resulting data sheet, and the other will appear across the top. So cross-tab queries are useful for summarizing the data by category or group. So you can say group it by the state and give me the total of the current due, right? So let me show you now how we're gonna do that. So we're gonna start a create. We're gonna go to query wizard to create the cross tab. The second in line is the cross query wizard. Click OK. Once you clicked OK, now the next thing here is the to table. So obviously we're gonna use the account table, and then I will click next, and then now here it says which field do you want as your row, the row headings. In this case, I want the state to be the row values. The row headings will be the states. Okay, then hit next. Now here it says which field value do you want as your column headings. So my column heading will be the account manager. As you see that here in the sample, it shows you that the rows will indicate the states and the columns will be the account manager number will be listed in as a column heading. Then hit next. Then here it says what number do you want to calculate for each columns and row intersection. So in this case we want to do the current due, and if you choose the field current due, then what you want to do, what you want to count, you want to find average, maximum value, minimum, sum, standard deviation. So here in this case we want the sum. So what I want to do is that I want to get the current due sum up for the states and the account managers. So hit next. Now here we're gonna save it as state dash manager cross tab, and then there is no more next, is a wizard. So hit finish, and if you see here the output now, the record is being grouped by the states, and then we said we want to find the total of the current. So whatever the total for 31, all were grouped together for the state of IL, and then they were grouped, and then for 35 all the currents, all the account numbers, all the account number in the state of IL for account manager 35 were summed up together, and then all this here, all the three were added together, and then we end up with 23,258. In the case of the state of IN, we have 13,466. So it means that 31, if I have any information under the IN, they were grouped and then they were summed. So here is they, and then from there these three guys were added up together, and then we end up with 13,466. So we can close. Now that was the cross tab. Save it. So that is done. Now the next thing here is, before the chapter is going to end up, is customizing the navigation pane. So that's your navigation pane in here. And then if you click in the right of the all access object, there's a small down arrow, and then from here if you just say and now it says all object type, right? So in this case, if you just say for example, if you said just I want to get all the queries, look, I see all the queries now. And then if you go back here and then you said all the access objects, show me everything. Now for example, if you want to search something, suppose you want to search MA, anything that has MA in it, so you will type MA. So MA means it could be account manager, it could be the state cross tab that we create, all the MAs are here, so you can search like that too. And then from there, chapter number 2, we have finished chapter number 2, and I hope that you have learned about how to use the queries, and I hope with this video is gonna benefit you, and then you gonna be mastering of using the queries in Access. And hopefully next time I will create a video about chapter number 3, Have a nice day. Thank you so much. Bye.